What's up, everybody? What's up, MGTOW? So, I wanted to do another video on miscegenation propaganda and just talking more in general about the whole concept of miscegenation and American culture and if it has a place in American culture. So, to me, the use of the word multicultural kind of has different connotations to different people, where some people are using it in the context more of culture, as in, the laws and customs of the country, and other people are using it more in the context of race or ethnicity. So when they're saying multicultural, they really mean multiracial or multi-ethnic. Now, to me, in a sense, being born in the United States and having been here, or my family having been here for multiple generations, it's kind of a confusing concept to think that, black people or other races of people should somehow be removed from the country just based on the fact of their skin color or IQ levels, whatever you want to talk about. So, this same argument has been presented by the right before in the 90s with regards to hip-hop music, when the right was kind of claiming that hip-hop music was causing people in the United States to become violent, which the argument is pretty easily debunked because of the fact that, before radios were even invented, or record players for that matter, people in America were shooting each other, period. People were getting shot in America well before recorded music even existed, so that's well before hip-hop music existed. And the same argument can be presented for miscegenation propaganda, because people were having interracial sex and children well before TV existed, well before the Jewish people were in charge of the media and all this other stuff. And I mean, we can go through plenty of historical examples of that, from the Mongols in China, where obviously in China, everybody didn't consider themselves to be in the same ethnic group. So when Genghis Khan took over most of China, that was considered inter-ethnic, sex. Then, of course, you have the Moors invading Europe, and then you have the Europeans invading Africa and North America and South America and Central America. And throughout all these periods of time and invasion or whatever, there was always interracial sex happening. So to try to pin all of interracial sex on TV, it's kind of taking away people's agency and saying that people are really easily manipulated by TV. And yes, some people are manipulated heavily by advertising, but at the same time, I grew up watching Superman and Spider-Man and Batman, and I've never tried to jump off a building or create a web shooter or do vigilante justice in a back alley. So maybe I'm just not as affected by TV propaganda as other people are, but really, it's just a question to ask. Now, saying all that, still I do understand the qualms that some people have with the presentation of interracial couples on TV, and I think that a lot of it has to do with marketing. But saying that, I do think that especially white people should be able to have their own separate media. And I think that that's the problem, because a lot of people say that they don't see, heterogeneous couples on TV and stuff like that. But if you watch channels like BET and read magazines like Jet Magazine and Ebony Magazine, which are all targeted towards black people, those publications and media outlets pretty much exclusively feature black people, black couples, black families. And I think that that's something that white people are missing out on. And like I said, I think it's due to marketing because for the most part, people in America want to be open to the largest markets as possible. And it's really only a historical byproduct that black people had to create their own separate markets with magazines like Jet and Ebony and their own TV stations like BET. Because the market's not really there for a lot of white people to purchase black products or products and media that features black people. And so I think that white people that want to be segregationist or separatist or whatever, they also have to take into account that they do kind of make up a small minority of people or a subculture of people in the United States. And I don't think that what they want to do should be illegal in any way. Like if white people want to live with white people and have only white people in their media and stuff like that, I don't see how that's unconstitutional in any way. But again, like I said, when it comes to the big corporations and big marketing type of things, they're trying to reach as wide of an audience as possible to sell people stuff. So I don't see that changing, that format of media changing anytime soon. But as far as having, let's say like a Ivory, like a all-white magazine or, all-white TV station where they only allow white people on, yeah, that is messed up. That's completely messed up that wouldn't be allowed in this political climate, because it's kind of not fair that white people can't have their own like all-white stuff when black people can have all black stuff and Latino people can have all Latino stuff and Asian people can have all Asian stuff. So really, I mean, as far as the large corporations go, it would be very difficult to manipulate them because it doesn't seem like they really care what the public wants, and they're trying to, I guess in a sense, groom the public for the products that they want to sell, as opposed to the reverse. And it's like the customer isn't always right anymore and stuff like that. So, I mean, the only way to do it is to do it independently, because that's how black people have done it. It's like when black people started Jet Magazine and Ebony Magazine and BET, it was because there was a market demand for all black entertainment with all black actors and all black people in the magazines and stuff like that. So it kind of seems as if white people want to have all white magazines and all white TV stations and all white radio stations and stuff like that, they have to create a demand for it. But the way I see it personally, at least, I don't really see TV and movies having had much influence on me in that sense, because mainly when I was in school, most of the people that I interacted with were white for whatever reason. I mean, there was a few reasons, mainly because there wasn't that many black people in the town that I lived in. But then on top of that, because I tested into like higher level classes, I mean, if you look at IQ scores, there's going to be more white people in the higher level like classes where they're teaching people at a faster rate. So that's part of it too. And also possibly because I'm light skinned or whatever, I'm not really accepted by black people or white people. So to me, it really doesn't really fucking matter. I'm just more trying to go anywhere where people will actually accept me. So I guess in that sense, you could say I'm just like a regular American. I mean, I don't have any other type of group that I can identify with because I'm rejected by both black people and white people. And so I've got nowhere to go. So for me, I've been trying to adhere to what you would call mainstream American culture for the most part. And it's very, difficult to try to work with people on the right when I'm not sure if they're using the word multicultural to mean, having different cultures, like having Islamic laws take over, the judicial system, or having, Spanish laws take over, or English laws take over the judicial system. Or if they're just saying, well, there's too many black people, there's too many Mexican people. Because to me, I just really think that we should just stop immigration, period. Not stop immigration from Mexico or stop immigration from Islamic countries. I mean, we got a lot of fucking people in the country. I don't see why we need to have immigrants at all. Like, why? Why do we need to have immigrants? At least for like 10 years, we can just stop having immigrants, period. But that's just my thought on it. So yeah, like I was saying, it's just very interesting the angle that certain people put on multiculturalism, because for me personally, I've been trying to be an American citizen as much as possible. And so it's hard for me to tell if people are saying multicultural or multiracial or what have you. And I think that white people definitely should be able to have their own media and be completely separate and have their own separate businesses where they don't allow any other races, or they allow whoever they want, whatever. And I think that the political climate is completely bullshit in that respect, that that's not allowed, quote unquote. And I think that the only way to really change it is to create market demand for those type of things. Like if you want to see all white movies with all white people, and you got to create a demand for it. And it's like with most subcultures, it's harder to create a demand when you're not appealing to the wider audience, the wider society. So that's basically just my thoughts on it, to clarify a little bit more. So other than that, have a good day and go MGTOW.